Some mornings feel heavier than others. The house is quiet, the routine familiar, yet something feels distant. If you've ever wondered how to bring a little more peace into your days, this conversation is for you. Stay with me until the end, because we'll explore 10 simple habits that can transform ordinary moments into sources of calm and meaning. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, from which corner of the world are you watching today? And if this resonates with your heart, subscribe to our channel. Let's walk this gentle path together. Peace isn't something we chase. It's something we cultivate, one small habit at a time. And today, we begin that cultivation. The beauty of what I'm about to share is that none of it requires dramatic changes. These are quiet practices, gentle shifts that honor where you are right now. So take a breath, settle in, and let's discover how the smallest gestures can create the deepest peace in your everyday life. There's a kind of restlessness that settles into our days without announcement. It's not loud or dramatic. It simply sits there, like dust gathering on a windowsill we forgot to clean. We move through our routines, yet something feels slightly off-center. Perhaps it's the absence of what used to fill our hours, children's voices, the rhythm of purpose we once knew, the clear direction of younger years. This restlessness doesn't mean something is wrong with us. It means we're human, and we're navigating a season of life that asks different things from us than before. The world moves quickly, even when we've learned to move more slowly. And somewhere in that gap, peace can slip away without us noticing. But here's what I've learned. Peace doesn't abandon us. We simply forget how to invite it back. And that invitation begins with understanding that we deserve gentleness, especially from ourselves. When we were younger, transformation often came through grand gestures and sweeping changes. We moved cities, changed careers, raised families. But now, in this chapter of life, power lives in a different place. It lives in the small, the consistent, the tender. A small habit, repeated daily, becomes a companion. It becomes the thread that holds our days together with quiet strength. Think of it like this. A single drop of water seems insignificant, but given time, it shapes stone. Your small habits are those drops. They reshape your inner landscape slowly, gently, but with undeniable power. At this stage of life, we don't need to prove anything to anyone. We don't need dramatic transformations. What we need are practices that honor our pace, respect our wisdom, and create space for the peace we've earned. And that's exactly what these 10 habits will offer you. The first habit is perhaps the simplest, yet it holds profound power. Give yourself 10 minutes of silence each morning. Not silence while scrolling through your phone, not silence with the television murmuring in the background. True silence, the kind where you can hear your own breath, the kind where thoughts settle like leaves floating down to still water. This isn't meditation in the formal sense, though it can be if you wish. This is simply you, present with yourself, before the day begins its demands. You might sit by a window, you might stay in bed a moment longer, you might step outside and feel the morning air against your skin. The location doesn't matter. What matters is the gift you're giving yourself, permission to exist without doing anything at all. And in that permission, something beautiful begins to unfold. In those 10 minutes of morning silence, you're not trying to achieve anything. You're not solving problems or planning your day. You're simply being. And for many of us, that's the hardest thing to do. We've spent lifetimes being useful, being needed, being productive. The idea of sitting still without purpose can feel uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is often the doorway to something we need. Your morning silence becomes a declaration. I am enough, exactly as I am, in this moment. The world can wait 10 minutes. Your to-do list can wait 10 minutes. In this small pocket of time, you belong only to yourself. Try it tomorrow morning. Set no expectations. If your mind wanders, that's perfectly fine. If you feel restless, that's information, not failure. Simply notice. Simply be. And notice how that quiet beginning ripples through the rest of your day, creating space where there was once only noise. The second habit is what I call the gratitude pause. 3 times each day, morning, midday, and evening, pause whatever you're doing and name one thing you're grateful for in that exact moment. Not something from your past, not something you hope for in the future, something present, something real, something now. It might be the warmth of your coffee cup in your hands. It might be sunlight falling across your kitchen table. It might be the simple fact that your heart is beating, that breath fills your lungs without you having to think about it. This practice takes less than 30 seconds each time, yet it creates a fundamental shift in how you move through your day. You begin to notice beauty you would have otherwise missed. You begin to see abundance where you once saw only routine. And slowly, gratitude becomes not something you practice, but something you are. What makes the gratitude pause so powerful at this stage of life is that it grounds us in what remains, rather than what has changed. So much of the restlessness we feel comes from mourning what used to be, the house that was once full, the roles that once defined us, the energy we once had without question. And yes, it's important to honor those losses, but it's equally important to see what's still here. The gratitude pause trains your attention to recognize the gifts that exist right now, in this version of your life. It doesn't deny difficulty. It doesn't pretend everything is perfect. It simply reminds you that even in challenging seasons, beauty persists. And when you train yourself to notice that beauty 3 times a day, your brain begins to seek it naturally. Peace isn't the absence of challenge. Peace is the ability to find solid ground even when the path is uncertain. And gratitude is that solid ground. The third habit might seem almost too simple. Take 1 conscious breath whenever you transition between activities. When you finish your breakfast and stand to clear your plate, 1 breath. When you end a phone call, 1 breath. When you close a book and prepare to stand, 1 breath. This isn't deep breathing or a breathing exercise. It's simply 1 intentional breath where you notice the inhale and the exhale. That's all. But within that simplicity lives something remarkable. That 1 breath creates a micro pause, a tiny gap between what was and what comes next. In that gap, you return to yourself. You step out of autopilot. You remember that you're here, alive, present. We spend so much of our lives moving unconsciously from one thing to the next. Our minds already 3 steps ahead, while our bodies lag behind. The 1 conscious breath reunites you with yourself. This habit becomes especially meaningful when life feels rushed or overwhelming. Even on days when you have no control over external circumstances, you have sovereignty over this 1 breath. No one can take that from you. It belongs entirely to you. And in claiming it, you claim your presence. You claim your peace. I've watched people transform their relationship with daily stress through this single practice. Not because the stress disappeared, but because they found a way to create space around it. The breath becomes a reminder. I am more than this moment. I am more than this task. I am more than what the day demands from me. At my core, I am simply alive, and that is enough. Try it today. Notice how it feels to pause between activities with just 1 conscious breath. Notice if the quality of your day begins to shift, even slightly. Sometimes the most profound peace comes from the smallest gestures. The 4th habit invites you to touch something natural every afternoon. Step outside and place your hand on a tree trunk. Feel the texture of a leaf. Let soil run through your fingers if you have a garden. Stand barefoot on grass, even for just a moment. If going outside isn't possible, tend to a houseplant. Touch its leaves. Feel the moisture in the soil. This isn't about grand outdoor adventures or long walks, though those are beautiful if you can manage them. This is about physical contact with something living and natural. There's science behind this, of course. Physical connection with nature reduces stress hormones and increases feelings of well-being. But beyond the science, there's something deeper. Nature doesn't ask anything of you. It doesn't judge your age or your pace. It simply exists, and it welcomes your presence. In touching something natural, you're reminded that you, too, are part of this larger living system. Many of us spend entire days indoors, especially as we age, and our worlds sometimes become smaller. The walls of our homes hold us safely, but they can also isolate us from the rhythms that human beings have known for thousands of years. The afternoon nature touch breaks that isolation gently. It takes perhaps 3 minutes of your day, yet it reconnects you with something ancient and true. When you touch that tree bark or feel that cool grass beneath your feet, you're participating in an exchange. You're giving your attention, and nature gives back its calm, its steadiness, its quiet assurance that life continues. You don't have to go far. You don't have to make it complicated. Simply step to your door, or your window, or your back step, and make contact. Let yourself feel held by something larger than your thoughts, larger than your worries. This small habit becomes an anchor, pulling you back to earth when your mind tries to carry you away. The fifth habit addresses something that affects our peace more than we often realize: our physical environment. Once a day, set a timer for exactly 5 minutes and tidy one small area of your home. Just 5 minutes. Not a deep clean, not reorganizing entire closets. Simply bringing order to one space. Maybe it's your kitchen counter. Maybe it's the table by your favorite chair. Maybe it's straightening the cushions on your couch. The key is the time limit. 5 minutes prevents this from becoming overwhelming. It keeps the task gentle and manageable. And yet, the impact on your state of mind is remarkable. Clutter, even small amounts, creates low-level stress we don't always notice consciously. When you walk past that pile of mail or that stack of magazines day after day, a tiny part of your energy gets snagged on it. The 5-minute tidy releases that energy. It creates clear space, and clear space creates mental peace. At this stage of life, maintaining our homes can sometimes feel like a burden rather than a joy. We might not have the energy we once did. We might live alone and wonder why it matters if things are tidy. But here's what I've learned. We don't tidy for others. We tidy for ourselves. We create order not because we have to, but because we deserve to live in spaces that feel calm and intentional. The 5-minute tidy honors both your limitations and your worthiness. It doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require hours of labor. It simply asks you to tend to your space the way you might tend to a small garden. A little attention, given regularly, keeps things from becoming overwhelming. And when your environment feels peaceful, something inside you relaxes. You're not constantly navigating around disorder. You're simply living in a space that holds you well. And that matters more than we sometimes admit. The sixth habit transforms something you likely already do into a practice of presence. Create a slow tea or coffee ritual at least once a day. Not the quick cup you gulp down while doing 3 other things. Not the coffee you drink while scrolling through your phone. A true ritual. Boil the water and listen to it heat. Watch the steam rise. If you're making tea, observe the leaves or bag steeping, the color gradually spreading through the water. If you're making coffee, notice the aroma filling the air. Then, sit with your cup. Hold it in both hands. Feel its warmth. Take small sips and actually taste what you're drinking. Give yourself 10 minutes where this is all you do. No multitasking, no distractions, just you and your beverage. This ritual becomes a meditation on presence. It becomes a declaration that you matter enough to give yourself this time. Many cultures around the world have understood the power of tea or coffee ceremonies for centuries. They recognized that the act of preparing and consuming a warm beverage could become sacred when done with intention. You're not trying to copy any formal tradition here. You're simply creating your own. This daily ritual becomes an anchor point in your day. It's a moment you can count on. A small island of calm in whatever else is happening. On difficult days, you still have this. On lonely days, you still have this. On days when you feel disconnected from yourself, This ritual brings you home. The warmth of the cup in your hands is real. The taste on your tongue is real. The moment is real. And for 10 minutes, that's all that matters. Notice how this practice affects your nervous system. Notice how it creates a buffer between the busyness of your mind and the peace that lives underneath. This small ritual is a kindness you give yourself daily. The seventh habit addresses one of the greatest thieves of peace in modern life. Create a tech sunset 1 hour before bed. 1 hour before you intend to sleep, turn off all screens. No television, no phone, no tablet, no computer. I know this might feel challenging at first. Our devices have become companions, especially for those of us who live alone or spend much time in solitude. They connect us to the world. They fill the silence. They distract us from thoughts we'd rather not face. But they also steal something precious. The natural wind down our bodies and minds need to find true rest. The light from screens disrupts our sleep hormones. The content we consume keeps our minds activated when they need to soften. The constant connectivity prevents us from truly disconnecting. That final hour before sleep deserves to be protected. It deserves to belong only to you. So what do you do during that screen-free hour? You might read a physical book. You might write in a journal. You might do some gentle stretching. You might simply sit and reflect on your day. You might prepare things for tomorrow in a calm, unhurried way. You might listen to soft music. You might do nothing at all. The point isn't to fill the time with another activity. The point is to let your system naturally ease toward rest. In that hour, your mind begins to settle. The stimulation of the day starts to fade. You remember what it feels like to exist without external input. And when you finally do lie down to sleep, you're arriving from a place of calm rather than a place of activation. Better sleep leads to better days. Better days lead to more peace. This 1 hour boundary, maintained consistently, can transform your relationship with rest. And rest, true rest, is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. The eighth habit nurtures connection in a meaningful way. Once a week, write a letter or card to someone. Not an email, not a text. An actual handwritten note. It might be to a friend you haven't spoken with in a while. It might be to one of your children or grandchildren. It might be to a neighbor who showed you kindness. It might even be to yourself. The act of putting pen to paper creates something different than digital communication. It's slower. It requires more intention. It engages your hand and your heart in a physical act of connection. And for the person receiving it, there's something powerful about opening their mailbox and finding a handwritten note. In a world of instant messages and quick texts, your letter becomes a gift. It says, "I thought of you. I took time for you. You matter to me." And in giving that gift, you receive something too. You remember your capacity to create joy for others. This habit becomes especially meaningful if you're feeling disconnected from others or struggling with the distance between you and people you love. You don't have to wait for them to reach out to you. You can extend your hand first, gently, through words on paper. And if you choose to write to yourself, that's beautiful too. Write to the younger version of yourself. Write to the future version of yourself. Write about what you're learning, what you're feeling, what you hope for. Keep these letters or release them. The choice is yours. The practice itself is what matters. Taking 1 hour each week to connect through written words creates ripples of peace. It reminds you that you're not isolated, even on days when you feel alone. It reminds you that your words matter, that your thoughts have value, that your presence in others' lives is significant. 1 letter each week, that's all. But within that simple practice lives profound connection. The 9th habit invites you to honor your body in a new way. Once a day, do a gentle body gratitude scan. Lie down or sit comfortably. Close your eyes. And slowly, beginning with your feet and moving up to the crown of your head, mentally thank each part of your body for what it does for you. Thank your feet for carrying you, even if they're tired or painful. Thank your legs for supporting you. Thank your digestive system for processing nourishment, Even if it doesn't work as smoothly as it once did, thank your heart for beating all these years without you having to think about it. Thank your hands for all they've held and created. Thank your eyes for all they've shown you. This isn't about pretending your body is perfect or that aging doesn't come with challenges. It's about shifting from criticism and frustration to appreciation and respect. Many of us carry difficult relationships with our aging bodies. We notice what's not working as well as it once did. We compare ourselves to our younger selves. We feel betrayed by aches and limitations. And yes, those feelings are valid. But what if we could also hold appreciation alongside the difficulty? What if we could honor all this body has done for us? All the years it's carried us through joy and sorrow, all the ways it continues to serve us, even now. The Body Gratitude Scan creates that space. 5 minutes of appreciation can shift your entire relationship with your physical self. When you stop fighting your body and start thanking it, something inside you softens. Peace isn't about having a perfect body. Peace is about being at home in the body you have. This practice helps you come home. The 10th and final habit brings your day to a gentle close. Watch or acknowledge the sunset whenever possible. If you can see the actual sunset from a window or by stepping outside, do so. If you can't see it, simply pause at sunset time and acknowledge the day's end. This isn't about the visual beauty, though that's certainly a gift when available. This is about marking the transition from day to night, about honoring the natural rhythm that our modern lives often ignore. Sunset reminds us that endings are natural, that each day has its arc, that rest is coming, that you've made it through another day, and that matters. Standing witness to sunset, even for just 3 minutes, connects you to something larger than your personal concerns. You're participating in an ancient rhythm, one that has repeated itself since long before you were born, and will continue long after. In that perspective, your worries become smaller, your peace becomes larger. As you watch or acknowledge the sunset, you might also practice a simple reflection. What went well today? Just one thing. You're not evaluating your entire day or judging your productivity. You're simply naming one thing that held goodness. Maybe it was a conversation that made you smile. Maybe it was a meal you enjoyed. Maybe it was simply that you were kind to yourself when you felt frustrated. Maybe it was this very moment, watching the day end. By closing each day with this recognition of what went well, you train your mind to seek the good. You move away from dwelling on what went wrong or what you failed to accomplish. You end your day on a note of appreciation rather than criticism. And how you end your day affects how you sleep, which affects how you begin tomorrow. The sunset reflection becomes a bridge between days, helping you release what was and prepare for what comes next, with peace in your heart. Now we've walked through all 10 habits together, and perhaps you're noticing something. None of them are complicated. None of them require special equipment or abilities. None of them demand hours of your time. They're small, they're gentle, they're accessible, and yet, together, they create something profound. Think of these habits as threads being woven into the fabric of your daily life. Each thread on its own might seem insignificant, but woven together, they create a cloth that can hold you, comfort you, and keep you warm. The peace you're seeking doesn't come from one grand gesture or dramatic change. It comes from showing up for yourself repeatedly in small, tender ways. It comes from creating patterns that honor your needs and respect your pace. These 10 habits are invitations, not demands. You don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do them perfectly. You simply begin where you are. You might be wondering, where do I begin? How do I incorporate these habits into my life without feeling overwhelmed? Here's my suggestion. Choose just one habit to start with. Just one. Whichever one called to you most strongly as we discussed them. Whichever one felt most accessible or most needed in your life right now. Commit to that one habit for 2 weeks. Don't add anything else. Just practice that one thing consistently for 14 days. Let it become familiar. Let it become comfortable. Let it become a natural part of your rhythm. Then, after 2 weeks, if you're ready, add a second habit. Again, give it 2 weeks to settle in, and so on. There's no rush. You're not competing with anyone. You're not trying to achieve some external standard of wellness. You're simply, gently, creating more space for peace in your life. And that deserves to unfold at exactly the pace that feels right for you. Some days, even these simple habits will feel difficult. You'll wake up, and the 10 minutes of morning silence will seem impossible. You'll forget the gratitude pause. You'll reach for your phone despite the tech sunset. You'll skip the sunset reflection because you're tired. And that's okay. That's part of being human. What matters isn't perfection. What matters is returning. When you notice you've drifted away from a habit, you simply come back to it without judgment. You don't criticize yourself for forgetting. You don't decide you've failed and give up. You just gently return, the way you'd help a small child who stumbled while learning to walk. The habit isn't the master, and you aren't the servant. These practices exist to serve you, to bring you peace. If a particular habit consistently doesn't feel right, you can adjust it or release it. The goal isn't to follow rules. The goal is to tend to your well-being. Many of these habits are solitary practices. You do them alone, and for some of you, that might bring up feelings about the time you spend by yourself. Perhaps you live alone. Perhaps you spend many hours of each day without another human presence. And sometimes that solitude feels like loneliness. But here's what these habits can teach you. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone is a circumstance. Being lonely is a feeling. And you can be alone without being lonely. These habits help you transform solitude from something that feels empty into something that feels full. When you practice morning silence, you're not just alone, you're in relationship with yourself. When you do the body gratitude scan, you're connecting with your own being. When you watch the sunset, you're part of something vast. Solitude becomes a friend rather than an enemy when you fill it with practices that nurture you. As you begin to incorporate these habits, you might find it helpful to create a small sacred space in your home. This doesn't need to be elaborate or expensive. It might just be a comfortable chair by a window. It might be a corner with a cushion. It might be your kitchen table with a candle. What makes a space sacred isn't its appearance, it's your intention. This becomes the place where you do your morning silence, where you have your slow tea ritual, where you write your weekly letter. By designating a specific space for your peace practices, you create an anchor. When you sit in that space, your body and mind begin to recognize, this is where I tend to myself. This is where I find calm. This is where I remember what matters. Your sacred space becomes a refuge, a place that holds the energy of all the moments of peace you've cultivated there. And on difficult days, simply sitting in that space can help you reconnect with your center. Your relationship with these habits will change over time, and that's natural. Some seasons of life will make certain practices easier and others more challenging. Winter might make the afternoon nature touch harder if you live in a cold climate. Summer might make the sunset reflection more accessible. Days when you're feeling well will be different from days when you're managing pain or illness. Days when you have visitors will flow differently from days of deep solitude. This is all okay. These habits are meant to flex and adapt with you. They're not rigid rules carved in stone. They're living practices that breathe and shift just as you do. Sometimes you'll be deeply committed to all 10 habits. Sometimes you'll only be able to manage 2 or 3. Sometimes you'll drift away entirely and then find your way back months later. All of this is part of the journey. What matters is that you know these practices exist, that they're here whenever you need them. While many of these habits are personal practices, you might find opportunities to share them with others. Perhaps you invite a friend to join you for the slow tea ritual. Perhaps you write your weekly letter to someone who might also benefit from these practices. Perhaps you tell your children or grandchildren about the body gratitude scan. In sharing what brings you peace, you offer a gift to others. You also create connection around what matters most. But be gentle about this. These practices work best when they're not imposed on others, but offered as possibilities. If someone you love seems stressed or restless, you might say, "I've been trying something that's helped me find more calm. Would you like to hear about it?" And then you share if they're interested, and you let it go if they're not. Your peace doesn't depend on others joining you, but when sharing happens naturally, it can deepen both your practice and your relationships. There will be times when, despite your best efforts and consistent practice, peace still feels distant. Life brings challenges that simple habits can't immediately resolve. Grief, worry about loved ones, health concerns, financial stress, major transitions. In those times, please remember, these habits aren't meant to fix everything. They're not meant to make difficult things disappear. They're meant to give you small pockets of solid ground when everything else feels unstable. They're meant to remind you that even in hard times, you can still find moments of okayness. The morning silence doesn't erase your grief, but it gives you 10 minutes where you don't have to carry it quite so heavily. The gratitude pause doesn't solve your problems, but it reminds you that difficulty and goodness can coexist. These habits hold you gently. They don't demand that you be fine when you're not. They simply offer you ways to tend to yourself. At this stage of your life, you bring something to these practices that younger people often can't: wisdom. You understand impermanence. You've lived through difficult times and survived. You know that emotions pass, that seasons change, that what feels overwhelming today might feel manageable tomorrow. You've earned a certain perspective that comes only through years of living. This wisdom makes you uniquely suited to these simple practices. You're not approaching them with impatience or the need for instant results. You're approaching them with the understanding that real change unfolds slowly, that small things repeated become big things, that gentleness is often more powerful than force. Your age isn't a limitation here, it's an asset. You have the patience for practices like these. You have the self-awareness to know what you need. You have the courage to prioritize your own peace, even when others might not understand. Perhaps what you need most isn't instruction, but permission. Permission to slow down. Permission to make your own peace a priority. Permission to spend time on practices that might seem frivolous to others, but are essential to you. Permission to say no to things that drain you, so you can say yes to things that restore you. Permission to live differently than you once did, than others expect, than younger versions of yourself might have imagined. So here's what I want you to hear. You have permission. You have permission to take care of yourself, to tend to your spirit, to protect your peace. You've spent a lifetime caring for others, working hard, meeting expectations, and those things mattered, but so do you. So does your peace. So does your daily experience of being alive. These 10 small habits are ways of giving yourself that permission in action. They're ways of saying, my peace matters, my comfort matters, my inner life matters. Some of you might be thinking, but what if I can't do some of these things? What if I can't step outside for the nature touch because of mobility issues? What if I can't write a letter because of arthritis in my hands? What if lying down for the body gratitude scan is difficult? Here's the beautiful truth. Every single one of these habits can be adapted. If you can't step outside, bring nature to you. A plant on your windowsill, a bowl of water with floating flowers. If you can't handwrite, type your letters or record voice messages. If you can't lie down, do the body gratitude scan sitting in a chair. The specific form of the habit matters less than the spirit behind it. You're not trying to follow instructions perfectly. You're trying to create moments of peace using whatever tools and abilities you have. Your version of these habits might look different from someone else's, and that's exactly right. Honor your body's needs and limitations while still tending to your spirit. Underlying all 10 habits is a deeper practice, the practice of noticing. When you take your morning silence, You're noticing your breath, your thoughts, the quality of the air. When you do the gratitude pause, you're noticing what's present. When you take your conscious breath, you're noticing the transition between activities. When you touch something natural, you're noticing texture and temperature. This practice of noticing pulls you out of autopilot and into presence. And presence is where peace lives. You can't find peace in the past. It's already gone. You can't find peace in the future. It hasn't arrived yet. Peace exists only in this moment, this breath, this sensation. The more you practice noticing, the more you develop the muscle of presence. And the more present you become, the more peace becomes accessible to you, regardless of external circumstances. These 10 habits are really 10 different doorways into this present moment, where peace is always waiting for you. As these habits become more familiar, they naturally begin to create a rhythm to your days. Morning silence to begin. Gratitude pauses punctuating your hours. Conscious breaths at transitions. Afternoon, nature touch. 5-minute tidy. Slow tea ritual. Evening tech sunset. Sunset reflection. Body gratitude scan before sleep. Your days take on a shape, a flow, a gentle structure. And there's comfort in that rhythm. When so much in life feels uncertain, having practices you can count on creates stability. You know what to expect from yourself. You know what you're moving toward. This isn't rigidity, it's sanctuary. It's the difference between a day that just happens to you and a day that you're actively shaping, even in small ways. The rhythm becomes a container that holds you. And within that container, you have room to feel whatever you feel, think whatever you think, while knowing that you're caring for yourself through it all. In a world that often values speed, productivity, and constant achievement, choosing gentle practices like these is actually an act of courage. It takes courage to slow down when everyone else is rushing. It takes courage to prioritize inner peace over outer accomplishments. It takes courage to tend to your own well-being when you've been taught that taking care of yourself is selfish. But here's what I want you to know. Choosing gentleness isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's recognizing that you deserve the same care and attention you've given others. It's understanding that your peace benefits not just you, but everyone who encounters you. When you're peaceful, you bring that peace into every interaction. When you're grounded, you help ground others. When you tend to yourself with gentleness, you model for others that this is possible, that this is allowed, that this is valuable. Your gentle self-care ripples outward in ways you might never see, but are absolutely real. Imagine yourself 6 months from now, having practiced even just a few of these habits consistently. How might you feel differently? What might have shifted in your daily experience of being alive? Perhaps you wake with less anxiety, because morning silence has taught your nervous system that calm is accessible. Perhaps you move through your day with more awareness because of those conscious breaths at transitions. Perhaps your home feels more peaceful because of the 5-minute tidies. Perhaps you feel less isolated because of the weekly letters you've written and received. Perhaps your relationship with your body has softened because of the gratitude scans. These shifts might be subtle. Others might not notice them, but you will feel them. You'll notice that your baseline has changed, that you're operating from a different place inside yourself. And a year from now, 2 years from now, the peace you cultivate through these small daily habits compounds over time, creating a foundation of well-being that becomes increasingly unshakable. Before we close, I'd like to offer you a moment right now. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, take a slow, deep breath. Feel the air entering your body. Feel it leaving. Place one hand on your heart. Feel it beating there, steady and true. This heart has been with you through everything, through every joy and every sorrow, through every beginning and every ending. It's still here, still beating, still carrying you forward. And in this moment, right now, you're okay. You're here. You're breathing. You're alive. Whatever challenges you're facing, whatever peace you're seeking, you're already doing something important by being here, by listening, by considering how you might tend to yourself more gently. That willingness to care for yourself, to seek peace, to try something new, that's already a form of courage. That's already a form of love. So thank your heart for beating. Thank yourself for being here. And know that peace isn't somewhere far away that you have to journey toward. We've walked through 10 small habits together today. 10 gentle practices that can bring more peace into your everyday life. Morning silence, gratitude pauses, conscious breaths, afternoon nature touch, 5-minute tidy, slow tea ritual, evening tech sunset, weekly letter, body gratitude scan, sunset reflection, each one simple, each one powerful, each one a gift you give yourself. I hope you'll try at least one of these in the coming days. Start small, be gentle with yourself, and remember, you're not trying to become a different person. You're simply creating more space for the peace that already lives inside you. If this conversation brought you any comfort, I'd be so grateful if you'd share it with someone who might need these words today. And please, tell me in the comments, which of these 10 habits called to you most strongly? I read every comment, and your wisdom helps create this community. Subscribe to our channel if you'd like to continue these gentle conversations each week. Until we meet again, may you find moments of unexpected peace. May you remember that you deserve gentleness. And may you know that even on the hardest days, you are held by something larger than your worries. Peace isn't loud. It doesn't announce itself, but it's always here, waiting in the quiet spaces between your thoughts, in the gentle rhythm of your breath, in the simple,